welcome to Bourbon Forge Fishing. I have seen a disturbing lack of King of Kentucky versus videos on the interwebs, on YouTube. Everybody just gets King of Kentucky, drinks it alone, doesn't side-by-side it, and says, my God, this is incredible. Well, we're going to stop that trend right here dead in its tracks. We're going to go King of Kentucky versus the real King of Bourbon, George T. Stagg, and see how they stack up to one another. We're doing light pours today. We're going to see which do I prefer. Do I think they're in the same tier? Is King of Kentucky really as good as B-Tac? You hear a lot of people saying King of Kentucky is king on the interwebs, but a lot of people say George T. Stagg is king too, so let's get into this. We'll go with the Stagg first. Nosing. Holy Mother of God. Butter. Cherry cola jumping out at me. Cherry candies. This is something I want in my mouth really badly. It's being sweet and candied and almost kind of a bakery note in there too. King of Kentucky, a lot different. No cherry, no fruit really. There's a skunky funkiness there. Huh, that's not my favorite. Underneath that is like, boy, I don't know. The funk is kind of weird, so it's like caramel but with skunk sprayed on it. Yeah, it's a skunky, funky, it's like very typical brown sugar, caramel, vanilla, but there's this weird funk thing going on that kind of blends those together in a very strange manner. Let's start on the palate with the King of Kentucky first. Huh. So the first thing I noticed is this doesn't seem very flavorful. This is a 15-year-old King of KOK. It's 15-year-old. I'm not getting an explosion of flavor like I would expect to feel. The flavor is kind of muted and dull here. It's kind of muted and dull. Not a lot happening in the front. The mid builds up a little bit, and then you get a little bit of heat in the finish. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of just dominated by this skunky funkiness and I guess a vanilla sweetness. The sweetness is kind of plain. It's like white sugar vanilla, and it's overpowered by this skunky funkiness. Not super my favorite. Nosing the Stagg now, it's so much more candy, so much more cherry cola, like the sweetness and the flavor, the pungency of it jumps out at you a lot more than the King of Kentucky, and is much more pleasant. There's not that skunky funkiness. Whew. Little hot on the end. There's some minerally buildup, some earthiness in this, but the cherry candy, the cherry cola, oh wow, the finish on this. Wow, it just keeps going. Holy cow. It's like a cherry lozenge, it just keeps going on and on, like down your throat. The finish on this is just superior to the King of Kentucky, like it's not really close. I'd say the front is also superior. At the end of the mid, it gets a little minerally, which I think is this point's weak part. At the end of the mid, or the beginning of the finish, this is probably the only place where this does better, but George T. Stagg, definitely. Yeah, that funkiness that this has, is that skunkiness is just very off-putting. Next to the Stagg, yeah, it's bitter, tannic, dries the mouth out. Not much of a finish. Skunky, funky. I wouldn't even consider these in the same tier, to be honest with you. I think the George T. Stagg is substantially better than King of Kentucky. I don't think King of Kentucky, at least not this particular. King of Kentucky is single barrel, so keep that in mind. But this isn't going to stand out next to Coy Hill, WLW, George T. Stagg. The George T. Stagg just tastes infinitely better. Cherry sweet goodness. Yeah, all day. Definitely prefer the Stagg over the Cock. not particularly close. Too skunky, too funky, too dull and muted on the vanilla and the caramel and those sort of things that should be coming through. Too muted. The cherry pie, the baked goods, the cherry cola, the cherry candies come through really nice on this, and the finish still going is really incredible. So George C. Stagg is gonna beat this guy pretty handily here. So here it is. Record setting, trend setting, King of Kentucky versus. If you like this video, let me know down below. What else would you like me to see this King of Kentucky versus? WLW, maybe a purple top. I like to do something around the same age and the same reputation. You know, I'm thinking WLW, maybe Coy Hill, something like that. Let me know down below. Is this helpful for you? Does this help you? If you ever get the pick between these two bottles, I've had a sample of one other, which was a bit better than this, but this one's quite a bit better, I feel. So, hope this helps you. Bourbon Forest Fishing. Like, subscribe. Thank you.